Abdul Qadir, Afghan communist. Colonel General Abdul Qadir Dagarwal, died 2014, was an Afghan politician, diplomat, and a military officer in the Afghan Air Force who participated in the coup d'état that created the Republic of Afghanistan under the President Dawood Khan, and later directed the Afghan Air Force and Army Air Corps squadrons that attacked the radio-TV station during the Saur Revolution. He served as the acting head of state for 3 days when the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan, PDPA, took power and declared the foundation of the Democratic Republic of Afghanistan, before handing over power to PDPA leader Nur Mohammad Tariqi. He later served 2 terms as Minister of Defense, the first as part of the Tariqi government from April to August 1978, and the latter as part of the Babrak Karmal government from 1982 to 1986. His second term took place during the Soviet War in Afghanistan. Early life. Abdul Qadir was born in Herat, Herat province in Afghanistan in 1944. He was an ethnic Tajik whose family hailed from Herat province. He went to the military school run by the Afghan National Army and was trained as the pilot, qualified to fly the MiG-15, MiG-21, and Su-7, in the Soviet Union. His education comes from the Soviet Union, having studied and excelled in Russian staff colleges. During his career in the Afghan Air Force, he joined Communist Party and later aligned with the Parcham, flag faction. The Republican Revolution of 1973. In 1973, Colonel Qadir helped maneuver the coup d'état led by Prime Minister Dawood Khan with support by General Abdul Karim Mustaqni, who had been Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces. President Dawood Khan promised radical land reform, the legalization of political parties and other reforms. The Parcham was offered 4 minister posts in Dawood's government. As a Parcham member, Qadir was nominated Vice Chief of the Afghan Air Force, while another Parcham supporter, Major Zia Mohammad Zazia, was appointed Chief of the Afghan Army. However, by 1974 Dawood removed and downgraded many of the Parcham ministers in the government. Qadir was thus downgraded to head of Kabul's military abattoir. Many Parcham supporters, including Colonel Qadir, shifted allegiance to Khalq. In April 1978 Dawood and his hardline Interior Minister, General Abdul Qadir Khan Nuristani, launched a sharp government crackdown on the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan, PDPA. It proved to be a miscalculation. Colonel Qadir and Colonel Mohammad Aslam Wattanjar, another leading PDPA member in the military, narrowly escaped arrest, and early on April 27 Hafizullah Amin was able to smuggle out the order to restart the coup. The Saur Revolution. He also ordered the attack against the Arg, and against the royal palace of President Mohammad Daoud Khan. The tank commander on the ground was Colonel Aslam Wattanjar, of the 1st Battalion of the 4th Tank Brigade. Together, the troops under their command took Kabul. The government fell, and Daoud was killed. At 1900 hours on April 27, Chairman Qadir made an announcement over Radio Afghanistan, in the Dari language, that a revolutionary council of the armed forces had been established by him, with himself as the leader of the country. The council's initial statement of principles, issued late in the evening of April 27, was a non-committal affirmation of Islamic, democratic, and non-aligned ideals. For the first time in the history of Afghanistan, the radio declared, "The last remnants of monarchy, tyranny, despotism, has ended, and all powers of the state are in the hands of the people of Afghanistan." The Revolutionary Council was formed by himself, Hafizullah Amin, and Major Mohammad Aslam Wattanjar. It assumed the control of the country until a civilian government was formed. On April 30 the newly created PDPA's Revolutionary Council, with Nur Mohammad Tariqi and Babrak Karmal in its leadership, issued the first of a series of fateful decrees. The decree formally abolished the military's Revolutionary Council. A second decree, issued on May 1, named the members of the first cabinet that included Qadir as Minister of Defense. Member of the Khalqist government. He became Minister of Defense, for 3 months starting in May 1978. On May 6 Qadir asked the Soviet commanders for advice on how to deal with all the people under arrest. On August 17, Qadir, still defense minister, was arrested for his part in a conspiracy that allegedly had been organized by the Parkhams exiled abroad. Since Qadir remained popular in the military, President Tariqi did not dare to kill him, and instead he was sentenced to 15 years in jail. The policy of Tariqi and Hafizullah Amin to get rid of people they considered unsuitable in order to concentrate all power in their own hands became very apparent. Prime Minister Amin later reported, "The party was unable to make Qadir a true Marxist, Leninist, prepared to withstand any negative influence. That was our mistake." Member of the Parchamit government. After the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 that assassinated Hafizullah Amin, Qadir was released from jail under the new regime of Babrak Karmal. The political posts he held in the PDPA before being sent to jail were restored. He served once again as Minister of Defense, 1982 to 1985, during the Babrak administration. After the Soviet invasion, Kabul was put in a state of siege. The bridges were blocked, barriers and hidden ambushes were set up on all the roads leading into the city. Qadir was made commander of the city. As part of the changes in the leadership of the country, he resigned from the Politburo in November 1985, a year later was appointed ambassador to Warsaw, Poland by President Mohammad Najibullah. He was recalled to Afghanistan in 1988, and was subsequently elected to parliament. After the Soviet withdrawal in 1989, it was believed he fled to Bulgaria and sought political asylum. Later years and death. After some years of living in Bulgaria, Qadir returned to Russia, where he lived with his family. In 2011 or 2012 he returned to Afghanistan, where he lived in Kabul and completed his book. He died as a result of a stroke at Sardar Mohammad Daud Khan National Military Hospital on April 22, 2014. Views. At a mourning ceremony in Moscow to honor the memory of Ahmad Shah Massoud. Though Massoud and I used to be enemies, I am sure he deserves great respect as an outstanding military leader and, first of all, as a patriot of his country. September 21, 2001.